10 years ago, the music videos for SHINee's Why So Serious and 4 Minutes What's Your Name were released. Besides the fact that they were released on the same day, they actually have one thing in common. But before we get into that, let's just quickly breeze through some points about both songs I want to bring up. Starting off with Why So Serious, this was actually the second to last SHINee music video my sister ever showed me back then. This one's also infamous due to Junghyun actually not being able to participate due to him getting into a car accident back then. And I was bummed out by his absence due to him being my favorite member. However, Taemin and I believe Key do a really good job at filling out his presence within the song and such. And I didn't even know they actually performed the song as 5 members because I only knew it as the 4 members. So I think it was a year or 2 later, watching a performance of all 5 members is just wow, this is cool. But yeah, overall, I really do like this song. It's probably my favorite of SHINee's title tracks. I really like they went with rock to contrast with Dream Girl, and just overall, it's really fun. I think my only gripe about it is the music video. I like the first set they're in. I think that set's amazing, but everything else is kind of bland. Again, I don't know why SM went with this aesthetic during this era of just boxing their artists and putting them in really gray sets. It's weird. Also, to end this off, the girl in this music video is actually a pre-debuted Irene. Of course, 11-year-old me would not know what an Irene was, especially because I think it was until 2020 I've ever heard of an Irene. So moving on to What's Your Name, I saw this one in late 2019 as I was trekking through the entirety of 4 Minute while working on the final overview, and just like Why So Serious, this one's probably one of my favorites of the title tracks. I wasn't too big on volume up, so it was nice to see them do a concept like this. The song itself, I think, definitely has the merits of a title track. My only grievances is just, how Cube handled 4 Minute title tracks of just atrocious line distribution. And the second half of the song, there's not really a second half, because after Jihyun's part, practically, it's just a refrain from the second half of the first verse. It's just the chorus all over again, and it's just there's no bridge. But on the flip side, however, I absolutely like the music video. I like how colorful the music video is. The sets are pretty nice. The narrative, as opposed to Why So Serious, I really like overall. We'll get to the narrative. And I want to give a shout out to whoever stylized Gayun, because they took Red Buster powered custom figures and made them earrings, and I think they also painted the red pink. And it's just cool. This is now technically a Power Rangers video, so let's get into Photoshop and turn that Jason layer on. But now let's get into what exactly makes these two music videos connect to each other. First of all, we have to look into What's Your Name. So during the climax, the group goes into a salon of some sorts, and Ji-yoon is just watching the television and just sees that a zombie outbreak is occurring. And you have to keep in mind, I was watching this blind. I was in bed, and when it got to this part, this is one of the very few times I actually vocalized my thoughts. And I was just wait, what is going on? The zombies come in, break into the salon, they try to fend for themselves, but then they go outside and actually get killed off. The zombies end up becoming the backup dancers, which is pretty neat. And it's just how did it get to this point? And then as for Why So Serious, it's basically in the first quarter of the choreography, as they're kind of rising up from the dead, and then they're doing a bunch of zombie moves and such. But for the most part, you have to look into the lyrics, because basically the lyrics for Why So Serious is basically from the zombie's perspective, as it's basically the zombie going through their first love. Which is why I was kind of disappointed with the music video not really going that angle and such. And then as for What's Your Name going with the zombie angle, I don't remember what video or like interview it was that they explained it, but basically I think the gist of it is that like this girl is trying to play hard to this guy that's trying to get her information. But like basically the guy is like trying so hard that he's basically becoming like brainless, and like, you know, he's acting like a zombie just trying to get this girl's information and such. And like with zombies, because of the fact for most of the time they're kind of, you know, I guess like in media they're kind of like not faceless but like nameless and such, so they essentially don't have a name tied to them because of the fact they're dead. And that's basically what that guy trying to get this girl's information is. He's basically a zombie to this girl. Something like that. But yeah, that's like the one connection I found within these two music videos. And I'm pretty sure there's people bringing this up and such. I just thought it was like really interesting of like just discovering this on my own, because I was watching Why So Serious first, and then like when I first initially watched What's Your Name and saw the date, I was like, well, okay, like these two music videos have to at least be weeks apart, like at least a week or a month apart. But no, they ended up being the same day. It's just like, I have to incorporate this in the video somehow, but obviously because the final overview has been way overdue, I just thought might as well do it on both their 10th anniversaries.